Thank you, Evie. For minutes, that was Evie Kramer, right? Okay. Welcome, everybody. All right, we have guests tonight. The Girl Scouts are here with Bailey Bazance, okay, and Evie Kramer, who just led us in the pledge, and troop leader Bobby Bazance. Both the same way, okay. Bailey and Bobby, okay. So why are you girls here tonight? If you'd like to, someone stand up and tell us why you're here?
We are two members of the Girl Scout Cadet Troop 71487. We are working to complete our Silver Award project. The Silver Award is the highest award on a troop can earn. It requires us to complete a project that leaves a lasting impression on our community. What we would like to do is we would like to put up a Little Free Pantry. A Little Free Pantry is a community-supported space where people can put non-perishable food items for free. We would like to put it in Auburn Community Park because it's a accessible and safe, but also not as public location because some people are embarrassed that they need to have access to a food pantry. The reason we would like to make it is because there are many people in our community who don't have enough money for food. When is still to be determined, but after receiving permission to move forward, we will establish and submit a timeline. The timeline will be somewhat flexible because installing the free pantry will require the ground to be thawed. And in your packet, you'll find an image of the Little Free Pantry we'd like to build. The cost of materials will be covered by our Girl Scout troop, so there will be no cost to Auburn Township. We will fill the pantry initially and commit to checking on the pantry for a minimum of 1 full year to make sure it stays stocked until there is more community awareness around it. We will raise community awareness by posting flyers at our churches, local businesses, and on community Facebook pages. We would also ask Auburn Township to add a post about the Little Free Pantry to the community website. We will also send a press release to local papers. I also have 1 full copy of the plans if someone would like to see it.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to let Mr. Kavanaugh and Mr. Troyan comment on there. I won't be here to see that to fruition, but they will, so let's hear from them.
Yeah, it's small. It reminds me of there's already a little library thing up there, so it's kind of like the same principle as that. Are there any of these up in other communities around?
I think the closest one might be in either Hudson or So. I can't remember, but like it's pretty far away.
It's in Chardon, Bailey.
Oh,
Chardon.
oh, okay.
This is going to be a food pantry for like canned goods
I'm
and
thinking
stuff?
canned goods, and you don't want to get anything that's going to spoil at all. And honestly, anything that's not sealed up like that, the raccoons are going to find the pantry pretty quickly. So,
There's one at the fairgrounds too.
yeah.
There's
Is
one
there
in
really?
Troy
Yeah.
also, at the
I
Troy
have
Community
a full
House.
thing of the plans.
The design that they chose does also have a latch with, raccoons and animals in mind, so we would be able to latch it securely.
They are highly destructive.
Yeah.
And creative.
We had to make specialized lids for our garbage cans up there to keep those things out. So, yeah, this could be, that's going to be a big part here.
If you need any other help with that, let me just mention this. You may or may not know my daughter Kimberly McKim Gibson. She owns Hungry Bee. She started the Blue Cooler Project, which is based on what you want to do. In fact, her program is about to go national. So you may want to talk with her for a minute, and she may have some suggestions, and she may even help you. In fact, if you tell her that her father sent you up there, she will talk to you, and maybe she'll have some suggestions for you too. Okay? Excellent project.
So this would be stacked with donations. Would they just would a donor just go directly to this station and make the donation?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, not to be Scrooge here, and I like your idea. It would fit with some other things, like I mentioned, the library thing. We tried to run a recycling center over here that got abused pretty greatly by some local residents, so I don't, you know, I have some concerns that somebody might take advantage of that. I don't know what you do to work around that. Go ahead, Mike.
It's kind of along those lines, saying the same thing. If people do tend to be pretty generous in giving, so if it's filled and they're bringing something up, then they would have a tendency to maybe just leave it on the ground or something like that. And even if they're canned goods or something, like I said, but the animal's getting to it, so you might want to put some notation in there that, you know, if it is full, give us a call and, you know, we'll give you a place that, or an alternate place that they can take the food to and then redistribute it into the pantry, just so you don't get anything outside of it.
A lot of people in this area don't understand that there is food insecurity for a lot of people in our community. And I can tell you for a fact of helping my daughter with the Blue Cooler Project that probably gets hit 2 or 3 times a day. And it's not committed, nobody has to know who it is, there's no embarrassment to it, you just go and you take what you need. And so I applaud what you're trying to do.
Okay, where are you thinking? Somewhere off the parking lot, for sure, or shortly into that walking trail maybe to the, not in the woods, we're gonna have to stay outside of the woods because that requires a whole different set of permission from the conservancy that we're with.
Why not by the shelter? Not the shelter, the
Well,
picnic area.
I'd say you want to have some place,
Yeah,
you know, close to the parking lot,
Yeah.
where, you know, somebody doesn't have to like walk any distance carrying this food, where they can just kind of pull up to it.
You know where that kiosk with the map and everything is there? Right, you're right at the edge of the woods as you come in.
I think so.
Yeah, it's where the trail starts that goes into the woods.
Yeah.
I think we've got some cleared, I don't think it's not paved or anything, but I think we've got a little asphalt, type ground asphalt pad there that's, doesn't get muddy or anything. That's where
Yeah,
I think
well, that'd be a good idea, you know.
and I think that little library is right in the vicinity there too. You know, the little book library, leave a book, take a book. I think that's there too, so it would probably fit in that area.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a great idea. I commend you guys for thinking about the people in the community that do need help. I think it's a great project.
I agree, good thinking.
thank
Good
you so
thinking.
much. Thanks for coming and sharing with everyone. And I'm sure our trustees will make sure that gets on the web page too.
Yeah, let's get the snow to melt, we'll figure out exactly.
So do we
Is
have
there
your
anything else?
permission to
Go
move
ahead.
forward?
Excuse me?
Do we have your permission to move forward?
Yes, well,
Yeah,
I make a motion
let's
to.
cite, you know, let's figure out where it's gonna be once the snow melts off and what we
I
got.
have a
there.
motion
Oh,
to
thank
approve the project, subject to finalized location and weather permitting.
I'll second that motion.
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes. Thank you, ladies.
For anybody here that didn't see it, it's about 3 foot wide, 4 foot high. Was that about 1.5 feet deep? So it's a small little cabinet there.
Since you're so nice and came in here, we're not gonna make you sit for the whole meeting.
Thank you.
Anytime you'd like.
I'm sure you have homework.
You
to
probably
do,
have
and you
homework, there you go.
set in reasonable time.
Okay, next we're gonna go to the approval of the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to those minutes?
Run through them, and we'll make a motion. Approve.
Second?
Mike,
Yes.
PJ,
Yes.
Gene.
Yes.
Give me a hand.
All right, scheduled reports. Chief Phillips, Auburn Volunteer Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Report of calls from January 1st to 11:30.
Yeah.
EMS calls is 590. Previous year at the same time is 584.
Okay, thank you.
Fire calls is 402. Previous year is 385. Total calls was 992. Last year was 969. Mutual aid given is 248. Previous year is 225. Mutual aid received is 149. Previous year was 59. Total transports, 397. Previous year is 380. Total non-transports, 248. Previous year was 231. Total transfer to other agencies, 5. Previous year was 2. And our percentage of multiple calls is 26.41. Previous year was 22.12. That's it for reporter calls. Any questions? Mr. Blazer's here to talk to you about the contract.
You're on, Mr. Blazer.
Hello, all right. I will trade you a signed contract from our side for a cookie. I just brought one copy up, and once you guys get it all executed, we'll make a couple copies.
This is the original,
Okay.
Nancy.
What are we signing on each one?
Who's
got the original?
on this,
2
It's
copies?
the same, it's the same thing.
Yeah, if there's 2 originals, we can just sign one, we can keep one original, you can keep one original.
We're signing, right, Mike?
Absolutely, unless anybody had any comments, as I said last week, the last meeting, that there's a 2.8% COLA increase on the contract, everything else is exactly the same. Dan confirmed that we do have the funds to handle that, so let's do it.
Yeah, you've been kicking this for a month, so,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we got it to you early this year. For once.
I'm sure we get it right eventually.
Did we make a motion to approve this? I don't think so.
So moved.
Second.
Mike,
Yes.
EJ?
Yes.
Gene?
Yes. Yes, we also just.
EJ approved?
It's mine.
Yeah, you can sign that one,
That
Keith.
goes with that. It does.
That way we each have signed contracts, you don't have to worry about any copies then. Okay, this copy's gotta go back to Dan to,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, how's that? Okay, you want me to hang on to this one? You guys got that one?
Dan signed that one already?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one's
Okay,
signed.
yeah, just, yeah, Dan, if you wanna sign that, and then you just keep that as our copy.
Awesome. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Keith.
Yeah,
Just a
but I'm gonna stay for the rest.
pleasure for working with you guys for the last
Looking forward to
20
next year.
20 years. Yeah, time flies when you're having fun.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving right along. Mr. Troyan.
Okay, just a couple things that have been floating around Nancy's desk. I don't know if,
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
what we got is, there's been some different letters coming out regarding the Spectrum / Optimum Altice situation and where things stand. First, it was that the Altice was going to be shutting down on the 22nd, and then Spectrum was going to be kicking in on the 26th, but then they weren't going to be able to do that probably for another 4 weeks, and So there's been a lot of confusion about that, and we finally got a hard copy letter saying that you were recently notified that your CSC Holdings LLC Optimum Service will be transitioning to Spectrum. The previously communicated transition date has changed. You will continue to have access to your current service and will notify you once the new transition date is confirmed. If you have received your new Spectrum equipment, please keep it as it will be needed once your service has transitioned. Additionally, if you had an appointment for Spectrum's technician to professionally install your equipment, it will be rescheduled. Our priority is to ensure a seamless experience as you gain access to Spectrum's advanced internet, TV, mobile, and voice services. So, basically, unless somebody's lying here, there shouldn't be any gap between the change of service. We'll see. Second thing that's cropped up relative to this cable is, or the fiber optic cable, there's been some issues with people losing power to their homes, things like that. We had one issue, a gentleman called and his power was out. He called the illuminating company and they said, nothing we can do about it. So he called us. So we finally got it straightened around. I had Nancy contact our rep from regarding the power, and what happened in this particular case is the line was nicked by the cable installers, but it was on the secondary side of the power box, distribution box. So if you've got where your power comes into the box on your street there, you're responsible from the box to the house. CI would be responsible for anything before the box. In this particular instance, it was nicked after the box, so he understood. He's got somebody coming out to repair that. And his last thing was to try to find somebody at Spectrum that he can send the bill to. So Nancy's been diligently working on that, and
I think that last guy that was here, she should call.
she came up with a lot of phone numbers, so I figure if you call enough people, somebody's gonna give you your money, but, so just keep that in mind if, you do happen to lose power. Yeah, call the power company first. If that doesn't work out, ask them why they didn't fix it, so you can, but, so, right now, those are the only issues I know which are big enough. I don't know how widespread it is. This is the first I've heard of it in the last couple of days.
Is it down in the Meadows by chance? The one you're talking about?
I don't know where the location of it was.
We got a call reference that too, so if it's the same one.
Okay, so, like I said, that's, I don't know if it's on the power company side, I'm sure that they have somebody contact that they can back bill Spectrum. This was just a weird one because it was in the junction between the house and.
Yeah.
So, anyway, just a heads up, if your power goes out, after some cable guys come, don't be surprised.
So is the date changed from the 22nd now? They're not gonna be at my house on the 22nd?
No, they're not gonna be in your house on the 22nd. When they're gonna be at your house is sometime eventually.
Okay.
But whatever you got now, like your pixelating channel 8, you will continue to have it for a while.
Well, as long as I don't lose the Hallmark channel on Saturday nights at 8, I'm okay.
Oh, especially on holiday week.
Absolutely. It's Christmas in July every time.
Alrighty, that's all I had. Mr. Kavanaugh?
Mr. Kavanaugh.
Yeah, just a couple of updates that I thought maybe be on the agenda, but Doug Hogan, member of our zoning board of appeals, has, I think you guys are all aware that he was building a new home up near Concord out of town and gonna move, and that, I guess, got done about 3 months ahead of time, so he's resigned. They don't have any, Board of Appeals has no meetings scheduled for the remainder of the year, so I think we'll just leave it at, make the appointment. We're not gonna make an appointment now because they don't have a meeting to go to, so that will be added to the appointments we make first of the year. His term had 1 year remaining on it, so at this point we'll be doing a 5-year term. a one-year term and 2 one-year alternate terms. So,
Looks like he's got 2 years remaining.
Nancy said he was up in 27.
So that's 26 and then 27.
Well, it's gonna be 26 here shortly, so.
Well, so that's 2 years.
Is he up in January 1, 27 or 12/31, 27?
12/31/27.
Okay, so it would be a 2-year then. All right. It would be 2 years.
And typically, in an instance like that, what we would do is take an existing alternate position and move them up into the permanent position.
But still an appointment we gotta make.
But it's
so.
still an appointment that will have to be made.
Mhm.
So then open up an alternate position.
Some salt numbers, Dan, I hear, did Mike got with you, we're gonna order another 300 ton.
Yeah, you should have a PO there to,
Yeah, we're at, our usage now is over 800 ton already for this year. We generally come in right around 2,000. Through our bidding process, we can go 10% over that, so we have essentially the rights for up to 2,200 ton for the year. But yeah, we're at closing in on 40%, and winter doesn't start for another week. So,
yeah, our salt bill's $135,000 this
we're
year.
not the only ones, so just thought I'd give that update.
Looks like winter's here to stay, doesn't it?
We got 2 weeks above.
No, we're still in fall.
Yeah, as I said, winter doesn't start till next week. So. That's pretty much all I have.
Yeah, it's supposed to be in the 40s when winter starts, so we won't have a white Christmas.
Yeah.
Okay, you're done?
Yeah.
That's good. Now me. Just 2 things. One, I had the honor and the privilege, as always, to attend the 5th grade DARE graduation class for the Kenston students. I've done that many years. I've enjoyed it. I think it's a great program. There are some communities who don't believe in that program, but I've watched my kids go through it. I love watching these kids go through it. I guess the only thing I think of when I see what these kids are being taught, and in the 5th grade, I mean, these are just little kids, 5th grade. That class, in my 1960s 5th grade class, probably would have no relevance whatsoever. Drugs, alcohol, when to say no. That probably been, in my class, would have been worthwhile as a freshman in high school, maybe. So it just shows you where we're at and the maturity of these young children. But I enjoy doing it, and I'm thankful I got to do it. The second thing, I just feel an obligation to say this, because it's probably the last time I get to address anybody at an official meeting. Let me start out like this. I have the utmost respect for PJ and Mike. Not only have I enjoyed working with them, they're smart, they're intelligent, and I consider them both my friends. But everybody who's been around here understands I came back for one big reason the last time I ran, and that was to change the name of the park to the John Everly Community Park. I thought it was deserving, I still do, and we just happened to disagree on it, and I feel bad I didn't get it done. In saying that, I would hope, Riley, over the course of the next year, 2 years, talk to the fire chief, talk to Jane, talk to Nancy, talk to the Emmerich Gordon, who used to be the road superintendent, talk to Frank Kitko, and get a feeling for what John brought to this community. As far as I'm concerned, it's still more than just a little sign on a practice field. He brought us into the 21st century to this township. When I came on and he came on, it was a changing of the guard. The old guard to the new, younger guys. Well, that's happening now, and you're that part that's going to be that transition team. This board over the years is going to change. And when that happens, I'm coming back with this request. And when I do, I just hope you'll have done what I've asked to talk and see if that's not in the realm of what we should do. So I'm just going to leave it at that. Like I said, it's just something we disagree on. They are still my very good friends, and I love them both. So, but we just happen to disagree on that. So other than that, Dan, it's all yours.
Thank you, Gene. Okay, since our last meeting on December 15th, on December 1st, I mean, I processed 11 electronic payments totaling $32,426.04, and processed 22 warrants, $26,192.84, for a total of $58,618.88. Okay, every year this time, we're required to do our temporary appropriations, which is to appropriate enough money to take us into the next year.
Attention Auburn Fire, you are needed for an odor investigation, 11620 Ascot Lane. 11620 Ascot Lane for an odor investigation. Call into your station, 2800 clear, 1926.
Apologies.
And that's to be done this year, and then next year after, and this is generated from what we took to the Budget Commission, Gene. At that time, I was projecting what I thought the expenses were gonna be for the remainder of the year, and which determined what I thought we were gonna carry over in the January of '26. So the Budget Commission takes that and produces it's called a Certificate of Estimated Resources, and based on what I projected we're gonna carry over, plus the revenues that they project we're gonna get in 2026 from the tax levies, they generate by fund a total resources. And I cannot appropriate more than what is available in those estimated resources by fund. So with that being said, and then after I close the books at the end of the year, they'll generate a new certificate with the actual balances of each fund for the beginning of next year. And then with the projected revenues that they tell us we're going to have, we'll have a new certificate of estimated resources. Right now, our certificate of estimated resources says we'll have $5,835,353.03 at the beginning of next year. So, Resolution 2025-19 for temporary appropriations for fiscal year 2026. The Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, met in regular session on the 15th day of December 2025. Be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Auburn Township, Geauga County, Ohio, that to provide for the current expenses and other expenditures of said Board of Trustees during the first quarter ending March 31st, 2026, the following summary of temporary appropriations is hereby set aside from the original certificate of the County Budget Commission dated August 18th, 2025, for which expenditures are to be made for and during said first quarter as shown on the attached spreadsheet, and totaling $4,831,657.55. The temporary appropriations by fund for the first quarter of 2026 will be forthcoming. So I need a motion and a second.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Yeah.
Mike,
Yes.
Gene,
Yes.
PJ.
Yes.
Now, what's this on our agenda? It says Resolution 18. Is that just a
This
misprint?
must be an error. Yeah. And
What's the real number here?
2025-19.
19,
Yeah, who made the second?
Mike.
Like that, yeah.
And while doing those appropriations, you can pass these down. It's a reflection of what our utility costs were this year and what they're projected to be next year. So it's kind of what I use going into trying to project what I think we're going to spend next year, so.
Well, if you run out of money, we could always do what the Burton School Board's doing and take the inside millage and change it. That's a joke, I'm sorry.
The only other thing I have is that NOPEC money for the septic system, we did receive a check. It was direct deposited in our account on December 10th for a total of $15,208.50. And the only other thing is we have PJ, you mentioned that you talked to Jim Dvorak about
I did.
oath of office, and Riley talked to him today, and
He offered to come out on the 29th
Yeah.
and do the swearing in.
and he still is, but Riley's asked if I would swear him in, and then Jim will swear in Mike, if that's okay with Mike. I don't know if you were aware that Jim Dvorak is asked to come out.
Yeah, I saw him at a Republican Christmas party, and he's thrown out
You
there.
know what? I'm not all that picky and over swears me in, you know, anybody'd be fine, you, Jim,
He's used to being sworn at.
chief.
So I thought we should get that on the record. That's all.
This is my sixth swearing in, you know, novelty's kind of worn off.
You can swear yourself in.
Yeah, and Riley, you can invite the family, and
How many 3-year-olds come in here? I haven't seen one yet. Bring little Riley and see what he thinks.
Absolutely.
Yeah, bring them.
He'd like that.
okay, that's all I
Okay.
have.
Well, other than that, we have old business, town hall repair permits. What's that about?
I don't know.
Anybody?
I don't see any numbers in front of me on that, but I know we're gonna be required to get a permit and some backup material to do that.
Well, am I lucky enough just to allow you to do that next year?
What are we
I
advertising?
don't see anything either.
What are we advertising for on the 29th, Dan? Any other township, we can do township business. It's a special meeting, but it's in order to,
The actual wording of the ad going in the paper this Thursday says, "The Auburn Township Board of Trustees will hold a special meeting on December 29th at 7 p.m. at the Auburn Administration Building. The purpose of the special meeting will be to sign warrants and pay stubs, fiscal officer report, approve requisitions, unexpected township business requiring board approval, example, emergency road or fire repairs, and the administrating of oath of office."
that's pretty specific.
I don't know if there's, I don't foresee
Well-
me having any unexpected township business that requires board approval, but you never know what could come
No,
up.
we've had some good times with these trucks though lately too, so.
So, yeah.
That could definitely happen in the next 2.5 weeks.
And that would qualify.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the time sensitiveness of this project is kind of gone by the wayside at this juncture since it's coming on the holidays and it's really cold outside. So,
What project's that?
The town hall
Oh,
entrance.
So that'll wait until
Yeah.
next year?
I'm gonna say, yeah, probably most likely.
yeah,
Okay.
because I mean, once we approve it, then he's got to get drawings done, certified, and up to the building department to get the building permit, so there's still a little bit to do on that.
We had to get a permit ultimately for the stairs, the steps, I don't know if you ever noticed these out here. Those were some, well, they were very rickety wooden stairs that were out there that were steep. Nothing anybody really wanted to traverse very often. So we got some metal stairs, spent a lot of money, but that also required some new footers and everything too, so this is kind of similar over here. It's an entrance to a public building. And the initial thought with these stairs out here was, since we're replacing stairs with stairs, it was just a repair and didn't require a permit. But when we changed the pitch of the stairs and we changed the footings for the stairs, that's where we wound up in that wicked So that's,
Okay.
they are similar projects, and we're getting there eventually, so.
OTARMA Statement of Action Form. Is that something you have?
Yeah, Gene, Dan and I talked about this the other day, Saturday. It comes off of that OTARMA meeting you had, I think, back in the spring, right?
Yes, oh, yes, okay,
Yeah. And we're actually closing in on everything.
We is, we knocked off quite a few of those.
Yeah, I found another one today, and it speaks to annual sexual harassment, anti-harassment training, which we thought, according to their, it's not a threatening letter, but it's, they let you know who bought
The sexual harassment?
Well, yeah, but
Because I
there's
think
a-
you and
there's a-
Mike and PJ and Riley are gonna need that.
Well, there's a clause in here at the end that says an annual, rather than providing annual training, which it says up here that what we're supposed to do.
Yeah, you need that.
There's a clause down here that says an annual review for the organization with fewer than 15 employees is acceptable. So I just found that today, so we don't have to do that, which we didn't have to do that anyway. But we can kind of waive that one too.
Don't sit on the fence. Okay.
Enough
We're good
classes
with that.
down
Yeah, we're closing in.
We're closing in.
We're closing in.
Yeah, we did knock off quite a few of those.
Yes, we did.
Okay, new business. We're welcoming 2026 BZA and zoning board applicants. Susan, where's Susan?
Here I am.
There's Susan, and where's Ted? And there's Ted. So, Mr. Riley, why don't you pull a chair up here like we did last time, because you're the one that's gonna be helping make these appointments, not me. Mr. Kavanaugh, I'll let you start the proceedings.
Yeah, okay, this goes back, wait a minute, no, Mike's got to sign this one yet. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, we have vacancies, or make new appointments annually for zoning board of appeals and zoning commission, two completely different jobs. One is responsible for amending or any corrections to our zoning amendment, which in the next use of that goes to the zoning inspector when someone will come in and make an application for a permit for a house or a garage or a whatever's in the book, there's plenty of items. But if applicant does not meet the specifications in our resolution and is denied at the zoning inspector level, that's when the applicant has the opportunity to go to the zoning board of appeals for whatever circumstances, special circumstances they have that requires them to not quite meet zoning. So two completely different jobs. One is legislative and the other one is kind of quasi-judicial at the end. Zoning Board of Appeals is going to include one 5-year term this year, but the current members have indicated that he's interested in reappointment. The one vacancy for what will be now 2 calendar years essentially, the fellow that's moving out of town, Doug Hogan, and I want to thank him for his long service there. He's done a great job. I've seen him run some pretty hot meetings up there, and he does a good job.
He'll be missed.
Yes, he will.
He's good.
Yes, he will. And then 2 alternate positions that also the current holders of those spots indicated an interest to stay on. Commission, 1 5-year term, 2 alternates, pretty much the same circumstances as the other, as the board. So, I don't know, is that an adequate description of how, or at least overview of how that works? Any questions from you?
How often do they get together on that? I know I've sat through some of these other meetings, but I really didn't jot down a whole lot. But now since
We have in the past our commission has requested 2 meetings a month.
Okay.
We really haven't been doing that lately. There was some rezoning, pretty comprehensive stuff down at the corners, down at 44 and East Washington, that they thought a few years back, they needed the extra meeting per month to get to. They've kind of dialed it back to once a month for the most part. But we leave that up to the
But typically in an organizational meeting, we will authorize up to 24 meetings, so 2 meetings a month,
Okay.
even though they typically only run 1. It's at their discretion. So we give them the flexibility.
The zoning board of appeals meets pretty much on demand, but that always ends up in that once a month range because there's a timeliness to approving minutes from whatever decision they made on any particular case. So rarely do they go more than a month without a meeting. Yeah, that's, we're kind of sticklers to make sure that happens because as I said, there's a lot of potential for court follow-up, and you have to meet a timeliness standard to do that.
What is the term on the appeals board?
Well, what's open this year, and they're all open, you know, we're free to replace people, but quite honestly, we've had a solid group of people. We've had big turnover in years past, but for the last few years, we've been pretty steady with some pretty solid people who are in well, most of which have indicated an interest in staying on. There is the one man that's leaving town, he's moving in the Concord, a 2-year term remaining, unfinished term that we're gonna make an appointment to. So that would be in addition to the current members and alternates that are already involved.
So the standard term is 1 year or 5 years?
Well, 5 years. They're 5 year, they're 5 members,
Okay.
5-year terms staggered, one expires
Got
every
it.
year.
Okay.
That's how it works.
And the alternates are 1-year positions.
Alternates are 1-year positions always.
And this
yeah.
one we're talking about is a 2-year, he's already completed 3 years and he's resigning, so there's still 2 years on this particular term. That's all.
Unexpired, yeah.
Okay. And the roles and responsibility, you have 1 meeting per month, you review the appeals that have come across the desk as a group, and then you determine whether or not the appeal would be accepted or denied.
Appeals are, you know, it's an application that the property owner has to make. And it will include a package of materials that we request from the applicant, that we put together, that how it applies to our resolution. We've got a lot of experience in our zoning office here, and I'd like to think that we pretty much cover all the turf required to make a decision there. And you'll get those packages for those individual cases, and that's at a ZBA level. You know, commission's a whole different thing. You're overlooking the whole resolution. You might look at a section at a time, or one particular use at a time, but your responsibility is for the whole resolution and whatever is required to
Yeah,
update.
that's usually actually, I was on the board for 9 years, and one of the things I would always look at, the typical violation would be somebody messed up when they were building it, so the building now, we had one on my street, the corner of the building was, because of the way the street curved, was actually outside of the allowable parameters of where it could be located. So theoretically, we could go in and say, oh, sorry, that's your mistake, you have to move your house. So in this case, they went to the BZA and were looking for, relief from that. And things like that, at least when I was on it, when I would look at it, is we always send notifications to all the adjacent property owners. And, if you send it out to all the property owners that are adjacent to this property and nobody has a problem with it, I would do that, take that as a big part of how I was going to vote on that. But you have to look at, the whole picture of the,
I've read some of the minutes from the previous meeting, so I have a kind of understanding.
kind of gives you a good idea of what's,
of what, how the process works.
what the issues are and how they're handled and.
Okay.
Yeah, I just have one more thing to add, and Riley, I talked to you the other day about this too, but we used to do these interviews in executive session where it would be just anyone interested in serving would talk with us. And you got into some better freewheeling conversations, maybe even about a particular case. You could ask questions about somebody's, overview of zoning in particular. A lot of people look at it as a property taking, which it is. So you get some philosophical things going on. But then, I'm gonna say 3 years ago, there was quite a crackdown on townships. Even though you're potential employees, well, you're not, technically not employees, but you're making decisions on the township's behalf. We were no longer allowed to conduct these interviews in executive session, where you could actually break into a conversation over specifics. Now, this is how we do it. I don't think it works very well. I don't know what we can do to kind of hit a happy medium here, where we could talk in depth a little bit more than we're able to. But, all right, that being said, that's my complaint, but I'm, whatever you can ask of us and you're willing to ask here, we'll answer, so, yeah.
What is the typical time commitment per month of the person on the appeals board?
On appeals?
That depends.
Yeah, we've had some pretty hot
I knew
cases
that was
over the
coming.
last few years, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, typically they're relatively simple issues, but when you get into a very complex issue, yeah, they can get into multiple meetings but still, they're gonna, you're gonna set your meeting up. Hopefully, most cases, you're gonna be in and out of a meeting in a couple hours. And then maybe, they'll do it every 2 weeks, but, it's not something that's, okay, we're gonna have a meeting every day for the next, I think that really the most you're gonna see would be a couple of meetings a month.
So we're not really employees of the township, we are,
Oh, no, you are,
we are an employee.
from a payroll standpoint. You get
It's an
$60
appointment.
$60 a meeting. You don't pay in the OPERS, but you pay in the Social Security. So you will get a pay stub twice, a paycheck twice a year.
Got it. And then if there's any legal aspects to it where a scenario where you're in appeals and something doesn't go the way the other person wanted it to, and he brings this lawsuit, is that how am I connected or liable, or what is my position at that
Well,
point?
personally, if you voted for it, then it will come out of your pocket. You have to pay for the lawsuit yourself. So that's why we make sure that everybody's got at least $50,000 in their checking account at any given
So I think when
time.
I come to this, I have to have a team of lawyers that bank account. Okay.
Weeds out the amateurs.
No, any suit they would have, if they don't agree with how the BZA ruled on something, they go to the Court of Appeals to get that reversed.
And they sue the township.
It's the
Not
township.
the
right.
individual
But they could come to your house, that's what I heard. I'm kidding.
They pick at your house.
And you would get information about the meeting probably like about a week before.
Mhm.
So you might have plans and drawings and the application. So what you would do before the meeting is do your homework, go by the property, find, so you're prepared the day of the meeting. You're not just looking at it the day you get it. You would get it before, and it's your responsibility to look that over.
Come
Call
prepared.
if you have any questions, you can talk to Jane, and so when you come to that meeting, you'll be prepared to,
Understood. Thank you.
As always, before I close the meeting, is there anyone here tonight that would like to address the board on any other topic or subject, or make a comment, or have a question of interest?
You have a question.
Yes, sir.
And I spoke to the Girl Scout groups as they were leaving.
Yes.
Just that I think canned foods can explode and
in cold weather? And is there power to the buildings at the park where they could put it close enough to a building to have a wired, something that doesn't let it go below a certain temperature?
I don't know. I don't know.
They didn't think about it. I mentioned it to them, and they're
Yeah.
gonna check in, think about that, but is there, I think there's power to the one building there, I believe.
Excuse me, can you state your name for the
I'm sorry,
record?
It's Mark Kolanz, Kolanz, Mark M-A-R-C.
Okay.
Yeah, there is. I'm kind of picturing this as being something a little bit more seasonal.
Well, that was just my question, and I raised it with them, they hadn't thought about it yet.
Yeah.
As they were exiting, I just figured I'll mention it, 'cause
One of the
They can just,
things that,
weeks where it's below zero, they can just throw some stakes in there or whatever.
there you go.
they may even be interested in, especially with I thought of that, I didn't want to bust anybody's bubble, but they may be of interest of working with maybe the Bainbridge Hunger Center. They have a place indoors where you can bring canned goods and stuff. Maybe they want to refocus and maybe work along those lines versus something out in the middle of the park with, like you said, cans that can explode.
Right.
My daughter doesn't have that problem with the Blue Cooler project because it's all frozen food in a cooler.
Right.
And that's a little different than canned goods. But,
I give the girls credit.
Oh,
They wanna
absolutely.
do some Auburn
Oh, yeah,
specific.
absolutely.
They want
Yeah,
to do
I
some
do
Auburn
too.
specific. That's, and, yeah.
didn't they
we'll
used to
find a
do
way.
that at the church at one time, when it was a church?
Everybody's done food
Yeah.
drives off and on. Yeah, I'm picturing it as a seasonal thing, and I wouldn't want to start heating that, because then you got, then you got the fire department answering calls because the food pantry's on fire. So,
Yeah.
you know.
And then even if we had a place inside where they could do it, again, they want it like the Blue Cooler wants it, non-judgmental. People can come up and not feel like they're gonna be judged or whatever, can take it as they need it. I get that too.
Sure.
So it's too bad they don't have a spot like that, but. Okay, anything else? Yes, Mr. Riley.
For town hall, I know it came up earlier. Since realistically it might be when concrete plants open April, May and that, and it's been a long journey to get that done. Two things, like the AA meeting, is it something to consider that since they're displaced right now, and I got some stats on it because I was curious, because I ran into a participant and I just listened. There's upwards of 20 people meeting at a home. They paid what they can afford. I know we have, I met him the other day, the man with great hair, what was his name? The caretaker of the Adam Hall?
Oh, Matt.
Oh, Matt.
Okay, so.
How's that go? Pretty good?
Great hair.
Okay.
Yeah, and very
That covers a pretty
memorable
wide
guy,
spectrum.
except I was so intrigued by the hair, I didn't remember the name. So, so they pay what they can afford. If he would have to go to Adam Hall and open it for AA or whoever else had to use it since they're displaced, is it something to consider because it's a good cause and they're struggling now with somebody's home, 20-some people parking, they have a lot of issues apparently, so they've been patiently waiting for some news on town hall. And if that's objected, I had heard, I believe from Miss Nancy, that the county said that the structure's safe. Now, I wasn't involved in any of this, but if that's the case, should it be examined to let them back in as is, if someone deems it structural safe to walk in
Well,
and
the
out?
building is structurally sound. The front entrance as it sits now couldn't be used. And we could look at, you know, if they could use the side entrance, that would be one possibility.
Is there a side door?
Yeah, there's a door over here.
Yeah, I just, with the Adam Hall thing, it really comes down to if it's not like a profitable question, I don't know what we keep the utilities, is the heat already on? Will it end up costing us that much, or is it a wash to provide that service, since they've
Well,
been displaced.
Pretty
And
much
that's
every
the
building we
question.
have is a loss leader. We don't even make profits with any of these buildings. So, you know, me personally, I wouldn't have any problem with letting them use Adam Hall. The only issue is not, I mean, because we keep it at, even, what, 65 or whatever, it's not like we can let it get that cold in there. If we can get them to isolate to, like, one specific area, so they're not,
Cleaning,
so we don't have to pay, you know, it's $175 to clean that building.
We're talking Adam Hall.
Adam Hall,
as a temporary.
as a
consider.
temporary,
That's for a full party or something.
Right.
But like you said, if they just isolate to one.
if they were to
section,
isolate, then, you know, wouldn't be
And
that
then
much.
swept
maybe
up
we could-
themselves and.
Yeah.
maybe-
Yeah.
It's just something to consider.
I'd have no problem with it, I mean,
20 people, you could almost,
Fit them on 2 tables.
well, yeah, but I'm almost thinking you could almost fit that in the kitchen areas.
1 hour, I have notes here, 1 hour give or take max, usually 20, around 20. And I'm trying to get days, times, and frequency, but we might already have that
I
info.
think it's every Saturday
Okay.
morning.
I didn't want it to interfere
I think,
with,
I don't know for a fact.
I wanted that info first because I didn't know if it would interfere with true rentals. I didn't want that to happen either, but if it's a morning, I don't know if that's a common rental
I think
time.
it's like early, like 7 or
Oh.
7:30 every morning, every Saturday. Well, you know, I don't know.
And I didn't expect an answer, it's just, we still have, I think, 4.5 months before we see that finished, maybe longer for all we know.
yeah, initially, if you'd brought it up, I wouldn't have even thought about it, but we have stretches, you know, due to the overwhelming circumstances that keep cropping up, it's got stretched out, so. Yeah.
Well, for years, decades, they met at the Auburn Community Church before it closed up. And we have, you know, it's not a regular relationship with the two churches in town, but every year, just before Memorial Day, we're with them to help pull out the Memorial Day ceremony. You know, you don't want to look like you're leaning on anybody, but I wonder if Pastor Ron's got a room over here.
I was gonna say, I mean, normally, I know St. Helens has AA there, up in Newbury, but did anybody approach the one across the street?
We have not,
Good?
no, we have not.
Yeah, I know.
And it's kind of be a full circle thing, because like I said, for decades, it was always in the church.
Right.
Up the road here.
It might be something to consider.
Yeah.
The church next door, which was Auburn School.
For Pastor Ron Miller, what's that, New Hope? That's New Hope, isn't
New
it?
Hope.
Yeah.
Okay, we're good? Save the date. This Thursday, there looks like there's a blood drive at Adam Hall. Those who give blood, you can be there from 10 to 3. Of course, the 25th is Christmas Day. On the 29th, there will be a special meeting here with the Board of Trustees to close out the year. On the 1st is, of course, Happy New Year. On the 5th of January, it'll be the organizational meeting here for the Board of Trustees at 7 o'clock. On the 8th, the organizational meeting for the zoning commissions at 7 o'clock here. And on the 13th, the organizational meeting for the BZA will be here at 7 o'clock. And then, of course, again, on the 19th, will be the first regular trustees meeting here in January at 7 o'clock. And with that,
Gene, I want to say that this being your last regular meeting, I've enjoyed working with you for both stretches.
Thank you.
We, you know, going into this particular term, we, you know, the Everly, Troy, and Kavanaugh thing that sat here for a long time was broke up, so we had to start over and kind of do a little reorganizing, and for Gene's first job, we gave him, you can be chairman of the board, so, because we kind of had some comfort level with you. Gene knew how to do this job, so, and he proved that for the last 4 years.
thank you. I appreciate it. Merry Christmas, everybody that celebrates Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate, happy. Okay, and with that, I'll make a motion to adjourn.